Hey, welcome to my living quarters. Come in. I'm a British-born Nigerian. That's kind of how I like to describe myself. British-born Nigerian. Lived in Europe, I've lived in Africa, and I've lived in the US. And so that's who I am. I went to University of Minnesota. And so since pretty much all my adult life, really, I've lived in Minnesota. I started music when I was in college. I ran into this friend of mine and we just clicked, and we started doing music together, and it turned into, from a hobby, it turned into a serious thing. When I started out, I would say I was influenced by three main people: Prince, Bob Marley, and the Police. They kind of reflect, the whole, my diversity too, in the sense of, Africa, Europe, and, America kind of a thing. Definitely when I came to Minnesota, the whole Prince thing was in full flux, and his musicianship is incredible. Bob Marley, lyrical, he has a way of saying things really in a simple manner, but having them be so deep. And Sting and the Police, just musically, how they were, if you listen to their music, it really sounds simple, but when you study it, you realize that, they got sevenths in there, they got diminishes, it's just really, it's actually more complicated than it would seem, but that's the goal. I like to define the music I make as urban music. So everything, I got artists I work with. I work with artists all over the world. So I have some Nigerian artists I work with, and we do Afro pop. I got some people in Europe that I work with. We do Euro pop. I have Caribbean artists I work with. We do dancehall, reggae, calypso, combinations of R&B, hip hop, trap, all kinds of stuff, all urban music. Afro pop would be the style, So I've actually lived in a few countries in Africa for short periods of time. So I kind of like, when I'm creating, whoever the artist is, I kind of tap from different things that I've experienced, whether it's, my African experience, my American experience, or my European experience. And so it really depends on who the artist is. As a producer, I kind of want to really do things to enrich the artist and enrich the song that we're working on. Savannah Street, which is my company, really started out had three people in it. I don't know if you guys remember Dennis Green, the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, former head coach. He actually co-owned Savannah Street Music with me and my friend that I ran into in college. So all three of us owned Savannah Street Music. And when he left the Vikings and my friend left the Twin Cities, I kind of was like, what should we do? What should I do with this company? So I decided to make it a private company and bring it to my house and just start producing select projects from my house. And I don't just do music. I also help artists management and consultation. I used to be a teacher at the Minneapolis Media Institute, so I also work with just educating younger artists that are younger. What I like to do really is new artists. I'm really passionate about working with artists and really developing them. I think in 2014, I had a few #1 hits in the UK, and before that, I had a few Billboard top-selling singles with different artists. So I've done quite a bit, but really the passion is really about finding new artists. I work with a lot of new artists in town here. It's really about finding new artists and just working with them to develop their image, their music, their style, and help them find a place. Because it's when you're a new artist, it's really difficult to understand, am I good enough? What should I do? Where should I go? So I kind of really help artists to develop their style and their image in there. I really gain a lot and learn a lot from the people I work with. So I try to keep a healthy balance between working with people that are younger than me, people that are around the same age as me, and people that are much older than me. And it creates this synergy of energy that I can gain from. Yeah. Back when I started out, it was guys playing instruments and recording. Nowadays, you have computers, and and sampling, and it's getting to a point where it's like the collaborative thing is not as big as it was back in the day. But I think it's coming back though. I've been involved in building actual commercial studios, so I just knew what I wanted to buy equipment-wise, and knew how I wanted it designed, and I just made it happen. The goal is always to help artists accomplish whatever their goal is. So wherever the particular artist is based, then I might go there, or they may come here, or we might collaborate via internet and stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely, the world is somewhat of a smaller place today anyway. So the collaborative process can happen with people in Italy, or people in Germany, people in Iowa. You don't have to necessarily jump in the plane all the time nowadays to get there. But I do that because human contact is really important. Talent is important, but talent is a funny thing also. So with talent, longevity, and what I guess a better word for longevity is the ability to stick with something over a long period of time. There are a lot of artists that are really talented, but they burn out fast, or they don't have the right mental to practice their craft. So we got longevity, we got talent, we got the ability to chemistry. Chemistry is kind of like, if you get in the room with somebody and you're not vibing with them, then no matter how much you might want to work with them, it's not really going to work out. So there has to be really true chemistry, and vision. You guys have to, when I work with an artist, I like to talk about what we want to accomplish. So really, nowadays especially, it's not really just about making some music, because anybody can make some music. It's about saying, okay, what do you want to accomplish as an artist? Most of the time nowadays, music is really just an advertisement for your brand. So what you want to accomplish as an artist really comes into play. So if I find out that I love the artist's vision, and we can be on the same page as that vision, to understand chords better, because I play keyboards, I play guitar, so I'm always trying to learn on that level. I'm actually excited about everything I'm working on, but that doesn't mean that everything I'm working on is always exciting. Everything has its challenges and, good days, bad days, but definitely I feel blessed I'm excited about everything I'm working on. If there was one thing I want to say, I would say, that don't seek to create a masterpiece. Seek to create the best thing you can create at the time, and allow it to flow through you, and just let it happen and leave it alone, and move on to create something else. I meet some artists that are just keep on at the same composition until thinking that's what creates a masterpiece. But if you go back in history with music, you realize, the Beatles, some of their songs were written in 10 minutes, and they're masterpieces. Because you don't get to define what a masterpiece is, other people do. Yeah. Thank you for visiting my living quarters at Savannah Street. Catch you all later.